Hello everyone, happy Moon Day and welcome to Magical Me. I'm Jamie Mendez, an oracle as well as a spiritual intuitive, and I'm here with my weekly Moon Day guidance. So before I actually really get into what this is and what I'll be doing here today, I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me okay and see me okay because having a little bit of some technical stuff going on here with my my microphone as of late. So just let me know, how does this sound? And is it distorted? Does it sound echoey at all? Just want to make sure everybody is good with hearing me. I had to make some adjustments. Hello, gorgeous Meredith. You noticed. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, Carol. Hello, Kimberly. Derek, Dawn, Annie, Willa. Welcome. Thank you all so much for being here. Hey, Gregory. Welcome. Karen, welcome. All right, awesome. Thank you. It sounds good. Okay, great. We're going to retest it again in a little bit because I have a special treat for us today. And the reason that I do have something a little special and out of the ordinary for us is because today is Imbolc, which is a ancient Gaelic festival or celebration. It's also a Sabbath, if you will, on the Wheel of the Year, the ancient Gaelic Wheel of the Year. So funny that Bridget Martell just popped in, as we also are going to be honoring the energy of the Celtic goddess Bridget, also known as Breed, also known as Saint Bridget, also known as Brigantia. So welcome, darling. Perfect timing. So we're going to be talking a lot more about all of that. I'm going to get into that in a bit. I just want to take a second and share this and let people know that I am live. How are you all doing? How's everyone been? I know I was not here last Moon Day, so it feels like it's been quite a while since I've seen and communicated with everyone. But I hope that you've all been well. It's been quite an interesting week. Quite an interesting 2 weeks for me, really. Lots of technical stuff leading up to Mercury's beautiful presence. Okay. Trying to do this as quickly as possible. All right, I think I did it. Hey, Liz. Welcome, love. Thank you for being here. All right, so for anybody who is new to my page, welcome, and I hope that you find something of interest here and you enjoy your stay. Everybody who is not new and are return watchers, I just greatly appreciate you being here, so thank you so much for being here and being present with me this evening. So Moon Day is the name of the week. It's the name of the show, if you will, but it is the name of the week for Monday. And so I like to come on here live every Monday and share messages and guidance and insight for all of us as a collective, and really what we most need to know going into the energy of the week. So what I also like to do first before I do that is I do talk a little bit about news and announcements that might be going on here at Magical Me, any events or classes or offers that I have, as well as with my sister business, Oracles of the Light. And I kind of cross-share all of the information between the two. After that, I do discuss the energy forecast, or what I refer to as my empathy forecast, and kind of what I feel is going on intuitively, if there's anything going on in the cosmos that we really need to know about that might be impacting us in some way or other this week, or what I've kind of been picking up. And then I pull the Moonday message using oracle cards. I do ask for higher guidance for all of us as a collective. Again, as I said, this is not individualized personal readings here for individuals. This is a generalized overview for all of us and what we most need to know going into the energy of the week. Using oracle cards as well as my own intuitive abilities, I am able to interpret the message of what the divine or the higher guidance wants to come through for us all. And it gives us that heads up, that awareness or insight into the theme or the current of energy. And that allows us to really flow harmoniously when we have the awareness, helps us to understand, maybe make any changes, maybe be mindful of certain things, as well as, or I should say, instead of really kind of resisting and struggling against the current. So it's really beneficial for us all in that way. I do set the intention that all those who are meant to find themselves here do, so it doesn't matter when you're watching this, it doesn't matter if it's live, if it's on the replay months from now, you are here in exact divine timing. And if you find yourself here, it's more than likely because there is a message of something that will resonate with you for you to hear. Again, it's uniquely to your own life, as this is an overview, but it does really align with each of us uniquely as to what we are experiencing individually. All right. Afterwards, then I usually pull a mudra. I'm not going to be doing that live today because I have a little bit of a special treat for us in lieu of the celebration of Imbolc. I am actually going to be working with some crystal singing bowls and just bringing some melody and some harmonics in for all of us to help us align. I'll talk more about that when we get there, but I do still plan on pulling the mudra for all of us this week. I'm going to pull it after the live is done. I'll post it on my page, and then I obviously encourage you to go over there, check it out, and you can work with that, save it to your phone, work with that all week long. All right. Hi, Belinda. Welcome, gorgeous. Tammy, welcome. Lena, welcome, love. Annie, welcome. Thank you all for being here. I'm glad you made it. So, there's not a lot of news and announcements, and there isn't any actually, and the reason for that is because the oracles and I have been in hibernation. Kinda, I'll say. We've, like everybody else, we experience transitions, transformation. A lot of you know that I have experienced 2 losses with my grandparents in the last, 2 months of each other. So besides that, incredibly busy with wrapping up the end of the 2021 readings, which I am so happy to say I finally did. So really I've been focusing on that besides focusing in myself, as well as, both Lindsay and Karen. We've been doing a lot of inner reflection and working and soul growth. So we haven't been able to really focus on creating anything and putting anything out, but I do feel like that will be changing now, because today is Imbolc. Today is the 1st of February. Imbolc actually began, Imbolc Eve is when the celebrations really actually began in the UK and those who celebrated. And I say the UK because it was really more like the Gaelic people, if you will, that celebrated Imbolc. I'm sure they're in different areas, different countries. People celebrated this time of year their own way, and have their own festivals. And I'm not really sure about what those would be or were, but if anybody does know, feel free to share if you have a similar experience or tradition, or your culture does. That's always wonderful to hear. So the Imbolc is, again, it's Gaelic, and it translates to in the belly. And this is the time of year where we are at the halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. So it is this time of encouragement and renewal. It is also new beginnings. It's still winter, very obviously. I am in the middle of a blizzard. We are on day 2 of a blizzard that has not stopped. I'm not quite sure the snowfall total out there, but I want to say I'm terrible with guessing, like visually. But I'm going to say we've got at least a foot and a half out there, and I think we're going for 2. When it's said and done, I think it's not supposed to stop until tomorrow early morning or something. So we're in the midst of a blizzard, and it doesn't really seem very hopeful in the spring right here, But at this time of the year, especially in the UK, they are seeing signs of life return to the earth, and that's because they're beginning to see the snowdrops, so the crocus flowers, actually peek their heads up beneath the surface, and even coming out of snow. When there's snow, they do pop up, and beautiful, beautiful new life, and symbolic of that new life that's coming in. So it's the beginning, or the quickening, if you will, of spring. So while we are not yet at springtime, and especially over in the southern hemisphere, they are actually in, I want to say, Lammas or Lunasa. So they are kind of winding down. They're at their halfway point between the summer solstice and the fall equinox. So they're opposite of us. But even Lammas is a fire festival, as is Imbolc a fire festival, and I believe it's the first. Lammas is the last. Is it? No, I'm mistaken. I am mistaken. Lammas is the first fire festival, or the harvest. I'm confusing it. I'm sorry. Imbolc is a fire festival. It is the first, I believe. But Lammas, it's still they're all associated with fire in some way or another. Gaelics really love their fire. But so to me, it's really this time of reignition, igniting the spark of fire, that spark of life, the divine creation energy, So, hey, hi Anthony, welcome. Thank you for being here. Alexandra, Sierra, welcome. And I'm not ignoring anybody. I just sometimes get distracted with the comments, so I will get back to comments as soon as I'm done doing this part of it as well. But thank you so much for saying hello and letting me know that you're here. So it's very inspiring, motivating, and that's why I said that I feel like that'll be changing now with, the ladies and I have not been able to really put out any classes, any events, even any offers at this time, and I've really been wrapping up again, like I said, the end of the stuff that I had planned and going on throughout the end of 2020 there. And so it's this fire energy, this quickening in the belly, and it was also not only greatly associated with the Celtic goddess Bridget and Breed, like you heard me say before, it was also greatly associated with lambing, because this is like the lambing season, or what they refer to as the ewe, and milk, and because they were able to actually get the milk at this time as well, so the ewe's milk was also very connected to, I believe, the word Imbolc itself, and the actual celebration or the festival of it, because milk was like life force. Milk was that nourishing, nurturing, providing sustenance, providing the nourishment for growth, and for life. So it's very much about that, again, that whole restorative energy. It's also a time of balance, because we are at that halfway point between the winter solstice, where we really went into the whole darkness, if you will, that longest night of the year, and then moving into the spring equinox again, where we really have that fully blossomed rebirth energy. So this is the quickening. This is like the time where you think in terms of a woman being pregnant. This to me is like the spark of life that happens within her, and that whole creation where you can start to feel something changing within you under the surface, in the depths of the womb, in the belly, and so underneath the earth, the same thing is happening with all the seeds. And if you can imagine why this was so celebrated, it was because back then, people did not have electricity, they didn't have warmth, except for, fire and, keeping themselves, sustained. They didn't have grocery stores, so they relied upon their livestock and obviously crops to grow. So the coming spring was, obviously very much anticipated. So really, again, connecting with the energy of fire and warmth at this time, which is almost like their symbolic connection to the promise of the return of light too, but it was that sacred fire, that sacred flame. So Bridget, also known as Saint Bridget or Brigantia, is the Celtic Gaelic goddess that is most associated with this time. Now, she is also referred to in Christianity in the Bible, as she was believed to be, again, she was converted to Saint Bridget, but She was also believed to be, if I'm not mistaken, the midwife for Yeshua or Jesus. And even I think at one point in time, maybe even like while he was a baby, like his governess or something like that. So Bridget is also associated with midwifery and connected to women and children, specifically women that are pregnant, specifically women who are in the throes of labor. And she was always called upon for her blessing, for protection, and to ensure a successful, healthy birth. And a successful, healthy child. So there you go again, you got that energy connected to Bridget of the restoration of life, the preservation of life. She comes in, the way that I see her is she carries that sacred flame. She's most associated with and most renowned in Ireland. Still to this day incredibly celebrated and honored. In Kildare, Ireland specifically, there was an ancient temple to Bridget at that prior to Christianity, and it was believed that there was a sacred flame that was Bridget's flame, which represented the holy fire, the holy flame, but also the spark of life on earth, which is what it takes to come from spirit, to be spirit, and to manifest into physical reality, that process of birth, that process of creation. So that represented that flame of life, if you will, and that flame of creation. And so it was tended to until Christianity came about, and everything was converted. It was actually then converted into a monastery where nuns actually guarded this flame and tended to this flame. And that flame was maintained from the beginning of its time all the way up until Henry VIII's reign in Tudor England, where he went about his sacking of all and raiding of all of the monasteries, all of the nunneries, and kind of, because long story, but he obviously converted over to the Church of England, Protestant England, and so they kind of wiped out all of that. So that was the first time in history, in the 1500s, that Bridget's flame was ever put out, but it was very quickly reignited. So when I see Bridget come in, I see her come in like lighting the pilot lights, and that might sound funny, but that's the symbolism that I actually see. She's coming in and lighting the pilot lights, getting it ready, getting things warm for that life to be sustained, for it to, giving it what it needs to grow, so that come spring, rebirth is assured. So Bridget, obviously, I said she works with the sacred flame. She does work with that fire energy, that transformational alchemical energy. That is the necessary component to actually taking something from that spiritual into the physical, and then not only that, but seeing it to fruition, coming into life. With that flame energy, I see it as the sacred flame that is within our womb space. That sacred flame, that is that spark of life, but I also see it as our sacred heart flame, which is our higher heart connection to the divine, to source. You often see that represented by the Trinity knot, the Triskel, and whether you believe that to be, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Before that, that energy was even considered to be the masculine, feminine, so father, mother, and then divine creation. That unification, that integration for creative life force to come through. So incredibly powerful. She's also the inspiration. She's a very powerful healer. This time is also very much about balance, again, because she does have that energy of she's the guardian of that sacred flame that we all have within us, everybody. We all have that sacred flame within us. We're going to work on activating that today. But she also is known as Bridget of the Wells, and the holy wells and the holy water and springs throughout the UK she is linked to. And I have actually had Bridget come to me in dreams and meditations, and she's always showing me the water. She's always showing me about putting my hands in the water, and I am a healer as well, and I do use energy healing through the use of my palm chakras. So she's very, very connected to the energy healers, very connected to healing in general. She is who you can call upon for divine healing, for growth, for inspiration, for protection. I mean, she's pretty much an all-encompassing goddess. And she also is representative of the Maiden Mother Crone energy. So oftentimes people will see her or see symbols, ancient symbols in, ancient Celtic lands associated with what we call the Triskelion. Now, the Triskelion is an ancient symbol that's actually associated with the sun and the solar energy, which is very much masculine, but it is also associated with the 3 phases of a woman's life, and that Maiden Mother Crone, the moon phases, which are waxing, full, and waning as well. So very much connected to that energy of Bridget, solar fire energy as well. And again, I said she's all-encompassing, and that's what we would refer to as a triple goddess, if you will. So, hello Meredith, hello Nelson, thank you for popping in. Just talking about the celebration today of Imbolc. So, I know not many people know about Imbolc, or not many people maybe even have had time. If you're like me and you have a pretty busy schedule, sometimes it's really difficult to sit down and connect into these energies that are oh so important. It's so important for us to be aligned with the energy of the seasons, with the energy of the cosmos, because as above, so below, as within, so without. So it's very important for us to work in harmony with this energy, to understand it, to embrace it. So that's why I planned on, bringing a little bit of that magic in today. So doing things a little different today on Moonday. But also, you can celebrate all the way until sundown tomorrow, February 2nd. So also tomorrow's going to be a pretty big gateway. It is 2/2/21, and that is actually what I've actually read about it is this particular gateway is bringing in the golden magenta energy of the sacred feminine. It is bringing in that energy to align with the golden sapphire blue energy of the masculine. So once again, we got this energy of balance. So just be mindful tomorrow, everybody. Kind of take time out for yourself, rest when possible, because again, we're going to be experiencing pretty high influx of light, high frequency light coming in to basically bring us into that balance, bring us into that alignment. So what can you do tomorrow on your own if you want to connect into the energy of Imbolc, you want to connect into the energy of the goddess Bridget? Well, you can go online, you can print out an image of her. If you have oracle card decks, you might find that there are images of Bridget in some of your oracle card decks, and you can set that up as like an altar display like I have back here. What you can do, and what I have actually done today for my own Imbolc celebration, was that I have some blessed moon water. And I actually collected this water at one of the full moons, and it was raining, so it's natural water, and it was infused by the light of the moon. And I put it on my altar. You can actually leave a bowl outside if you know that it's going to rain, or if it's snowing like it is here in the blizzard of New Jersey. You can set that outside and ask it to collect water, or set the intention that it's going to collect water, and that the goddess Bridget does. Or you can go out and scoop up some snow and leave it out there and ask the Celtic goddess Bridget to come overnight and bless that water with her healing power, with her fire, with her magic, with that energy of the new beginnings. And then I would not recommend drinking that water, but you can use that water on your altar. You can use that water to actually wash your face with and bring in that vitality to you, to kind of like life restored. I think I read something one time, like there was an ancient tradition that women did that, and it was believed that they wouldn't age for the entire year when they used that water. Now, of course, disclaimer, I'm not saying that, but still highly, highly magical, and you can definitely feel it, especially if you're an energy sensitive. So wonderful idea. I actually took a red and an orange candle, because the color red and orange are highly associated with Bridget, as is white, as is green, but very specific. I like the fire energy of it, as I already have the water here on my altar. So you can take a red and an orange candle, and you can inscribe, I usually use a sewing needle, careful, and I inscribe that symbol of the Triskelion. You can even do the Trinity knot. There is also another symbol associated with Bridget that is 2 hearts inverted, kind of like 2 triangles inverted, but like 1 heart upright, 1 heart upside down and inverted together. It's also a very beautiful symbol to call on her energy. I've inscribed her name into both of those as well as put those symbols in. And you can even put something that you are wishing to create or birth within yourself or within your life. Do not put a person's name, because that takes away people's free will. But you can write things down like, I would like to birth more love into my life, or I would like to birth more abundance into my life. You know, whatever it is that works for you. And then you light those candles safely and let them burn throughout the day, or as long as it is until they burn out. Another thing that you can do to bring in, celebrate this Imbolc as well as Bridget's energy is work with corn dollies and making corn dollies. This is really fun, although not very easy, especially this time of year, because you do need corn stalks, or the corn husks, I should say. And if you're able to find some, fantastic. I was fortunate enough to be able to find some at the end of the summer a few years ago, at a Native American festival, actually. And those of you in the southern hemisphere that are currently in Lunasa, this is the time where the corn and the husks are actually, very, it's kind of part of the celebration. So you could probably get it. It's interesting at the opposite time of the year right now. So what you would do is you would just take these husks, you would soak them in water to get them nice and soft and workable. You could even add some food coloring if you want to create different colors, like different clothing that you would be putting on them. And you can see mine in the back there. I don't want to reach over and grab them because I'll knock everything down. But these are also very much significant to Bridget. And as is a Bridget's cross, if you've never seen one, I do not have one here, but you can definitely do a quick Google search, type in Bridget's cross, and you should be able to find that. You can make those out of husks. You can also make them out of, is it the Psalms? They made the Psalms out of, and I'm not sure of that specific, probably even sweetgrass, but again, I'm not sure how easily able you're to get a hold of this stuff. Let's see if there's anything else. You can work with the energy of just calling her presence in. You can connect with some, ask her to come forward and bless you in meditation. If you pull cards, I did this morning a message for everyone. You can see that on my page here on Magical Me. I posted it earlier today. I pulled some cards and asked for a specific message for all of us from Bridget and what she most wanted us to know. So you can do that as well. There's also baking bread, I believe. Hi, Teresa. Teresa actually said she's currently been baking. There is different types of, I want to say it's braided bread. That was a tradition at Imbolc, so you could do that. You could leave an offering also out. This is actually really important, that if you are asking for some blessings from Bridget, just honoring that whole give and receive, is that right? Give and receive exchange, and leave a little bowl of milk out as an offering to the land, to the earth. You can also, because again, that whole nourishment, you can also leave some honey out as well. And after it's been out overnight, the next day you can actually pour it onto the earth as that way of honoring Mother Earth, as Bridget is very connected to it. So really, honestly, thinking of yourself as being in the womb of Earth and really connecting into that sacred flame of the womb, that womb fire, if you will. And even if you're a man, this doesn't matter. It's that pelvis area. We all have that within us there, that sacral chakra, sacral fire. Now also it is about connecting into our heart space as well, our sacred heart, which is our higher heart chakra. So it's about activating that threefold flame within us. So we're not going to be doing that today, but we are going to be working with aligning and balancing your higher heart with your sacral chakra and bringing them into alignment right now. And I'm going to be doing that with crystal singing bowls. So haven't really gotten to use our crystal singing bowls much because COVID and, life has just been quite a whirlwind. So we haven't been. And then today I was thinking, well, what do I want to do special for Imbolc? And I heard bring in the frequency and the energy of the sacral chakra and the higher heart chakra with the crystal singing bowl. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do today. All right. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm leaving out. You can work with some crystals also, for those of you who are my crystal junkies, like myself, and you are connected into crystals, working with even a crystal grid connected to her, bringing in, if you have any plants around you, if you're fortunate enough to have that right now, you can bring in some of that and create a grid with that, even bring in those plants for your altar. Citrine is a really powerful one for Bridget's energy, for the abundance, for that warm, fiery energy there as well, the solar energy. I also have Golden Healer back here. Fire Agate wanted to work with me today as well. So there's quite a few different crystals that you can connect into. All right, and obviously having some form of flame or something like that to connect with her. Now, you heard Meredith comment on my mantle. So actually, green is associated with Bridget as well, because it is about that new life restored, that fresh spring earthy energy, right? So it's all that green. So it was believed that Bridget actually wore a mantle, a blessed healing cloak, also known as a mantle. She wore this and she used this cloak for healing. And there's more to it as well, but I've just not remember all of the details at this time. But it was believed that you yourself could get a cloth or fabric of green, even if you don't have one, and you just have something that is really important to you. Like I believe Tor Webster said today that he's actually, I have to say this, he is actually hosting a Wheel of the Year for the next, for the whole period of the whole season, the whole Wheel of the Year, the whole year there. He is actually doing a courses on this, and so it's not too late to join. You can still sign up. I'll put the information on my page. But he did for Imbolc today. He actually mentioned that he did the Imbolc celebration for the Wheel of the Year. It is like it's like a new, I think he's calling it the Aquarian College, if you will, and really working with people, helping to bring that alignment into the seasons, into the Wheel of the Year, because again, as I said earlier, incredibly important. But he said that he has a hat that he loves to wear all the time. He's actually going to leave his hat out on his kitchen table, but you could leave your item outside. I think traditionally speaking, you left it out on like your doorstep, and whatever item it was, lots of women would actually get a piece of green fabric, or if they have a green cloak or a green blanket, and they would leave it out on their doorstep asking Bridget to bless it with her healing abilities, and then you would take that and you would wear it and wrap it around you. So that's the significance of my green mantle here today. So if you don't have a green, like I said, a green cloak or anything, you can use whatever it is that is sacred and special to you. If you have an altar cloth, you can take your altar cloth and leave that out there as well. Okay, so really potent energy today. It's interesting too, because in the States, we celebrate Groundhog's Day on February 2nd, which is also stems from a very ancient tradition, I believe, in Ireland as well, with the Cailleach, and her coming out and seeing her shadow. But it's interesting, we celebrate whether or not we're going to experience 6 more weeks of winter or not, depending upon whether the groundhog sees its shadow. So here's hoping the groundhog does not see its shadow. So we're ready. We are ready. And especially after this brutal 2-day snowstorm going into day 3, right? So one other thing too is I want to say is when I connected with the energy of Bridget this morning, I had flashes of, first of all, I saw myself deep down in a cavern, in a cave, in that like the womb or the belly of the earth. But I actually, instead of Bridget coming forward to me in her physical presence, or physical appearance, I should say, it was a bear. A large brown bear. And I actually heard Brigantia, which is Bridget's ancient name. Some people associate it with a whole different energy, a whole different goddess, but they are one and the same. So I was actually greeted by the bear and given bear magic. So bears are also highly associated with Bridget's energy, as is the swan, and there's a whole story behind that. And I definitely encourage you to do your own research, look into it and see what kind of works with you, what resonates with you, what doesn't. Take what you like and let go what you don't. But lots of information on there. She, like I said, very all-encompassing. She was even the matron energy of blacksmiths, and forging and working with metal and steel and forging weaponry. So she was so all encompassing. It's no wonder that she is still revered today. All right. So that is my very lengthy discussion on Imbolc. But very important, obviously. Very special time of the year, especially when it brings about new beginnings for us all, which we can all use those new beginnings, right? So, energetically, what I've been feeling, you might be noticing me stuttering quite a bit. And at this point, I think I've just gotten used to it. So what I've noticed about that is I've been having some messages the last probably week or two. I've been getting these messages about brain repatterning. And I thought that, well, that sounds pretty weird. What does that mean? Well, we were having very high frequency light coming in, upgrading our crown chakras and our third eye chakras. And what was happening was we were having this, and when I tuned into it, we were having what was called brain repatterning. So it was helping us to release the old, because, consciousness comes from, has to do with your crown chakra, your third eye chakra. Consciousness is our brain is really associated with our consciousness, and changing into the new age, that new 5D awareness, it really is about a change in consciousness. We're not leaving the planet, as much as some of us might like to, we're not leaving the planet. It's our consciousness shift. It's basically opening up to a higher consciousness, higher awareness. So that requires releasing of the old software, if you will, and kind of allowing that old to fall away. The new software, however, you're being in that process of upgrading, and as that happens, it's really, you start to notice like lots of time lapses. You kind of feel very floaty, very in between. And I received messages that this was what was happening, that we were receiving these high frequency light activations that were coming in to help that expansion of our third eye and our crown chakra, having this repatterning. And when you have a repatterning, you have difficulty forming thoughts. Lots of times I was fumbling on words because like when you get to the point, like, what's that word? You want to say a word and you're like, I know this word, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of what that word is. I was doing that a lot. Fumbling for words, like kind of like I'm doing a little bit today, continuing to do that, and losing track of my days, losing track of time, unable to focus, no motivation. Like when I feel like I want to focus on something or I want to do something, I can't figure it out. I almost feel like I'm aimlessly wandering around at times. And, again, that was incredibly stressful for me because I'm a bit of a workaholic when it comes to, what I want to be. Always wanting to be creating something. Also, I always like to make sure that I'm not behind on things with clients and whatnot. So I was having quite a bit of like disoriented and feeling unable to focus, unable to put things together and really see any form of direction, any sort of picture come together. Just all these missing puzzle pieces is what I had. And none of them fit. So I'm still slightly in that. I've actually been feeling much, much better, feeling like I'm coming out of it. But in those times, I just feel like all I want to do, like I can't put anything more into my brain. I don't know if you've experienced that or not, but almost feeling, and I love to learn. I'm constantly, I don't feel like I've fulfilled myself if I'm not feeding myself with some sort of knowledge or wisdom. But the last couple of weeks, I've really been like, all I want to do is lay down and just binge watch shows on TV, like series and things. And really kind of just like, it feels almost like escapism. But it's not that, because I just can't focus. I just can't do anything. So I have to really, I had to honor that. I had to honor my body, and I would find myself reading things, and I'd just be like, oh dear God, I can't read this. This is too much information right now. My brain can't take any more information. So if you begin to experience that, because what I will say is that a lot of times when I experience things, I've noticed a pattern. And I experience things, it's like we experience things in waves. And certain waves of people experience experience things first, then the next wave will experience them, and then the next wave experiences them. What I've noticed about myself is that I do experience these things sometimes a little, probably like a few days or a week or so prior to like the rest of the people that I know or that I work with. Like it tends to be like I'm experiencing it so that I can understand what it is to go through it, and then I can help other people go through it. So if you haven't experienced that yet, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't start experiencing that shortly. So when it does occur, just be mindful of this conversation and listen to your body, listen to your energy. I was even guided to change what my body was intaking. I've actually been doing a celery cleanse for the last 5 days, and really being mindful about just my energy in general now. We are transforming, and as we are transforming, as we expand in light, as we expand in consciousness, we become much more sensitive. That makes us much more susceptible to harsher energy, to chemicals. So you may find yourself really being your routine needing to change. So listen to that, honor that, and lots of rest. Okay. We had Mercury retrograde on the 30th, and that really is has been doing quite a number. I felt it about a week or so beforehand, as I was completely locked out of my the Oracle's QuickBooks online account to access any of our stuff for taxes, and no help in sight for a week and a half. It only finally got rectified today, so yay to that. But I'm still noticing a lot of technical things going on with people who maybe I subscribe to, and their emails not getting sent and going out, and just things like that. So be mindful. Mercury retrograde is not to be dreaded. I know it does make things challenging, but these challenges are coming up for us to make changes, to acknowledge, to reflect on these things that are happening. Why is this happening? Obviously, I was trying to work. I couldn't log in. The big picture part of this, I couldn't log in because I was trying to do some really heavy duty work when Spirit was like, you're supposed to be resting. You're not supposed to be putting all this stuff in your brain. You're going through a massive upgrade. Allow. So they took my choice away from me, and I wasn't able to do any of that work. So when these things, this retrograde coming in, it's important to not go into that place of, oh no, it's Mercury retrograde, what's going to happen now? This is actually a really powerful retrograde that's helping us to really propel forward, but we cannot propel forward until we kind of slow down and stay still. Only in stillness can movement and magic really happen. And I think I wrote something the other day that said, only in your stillness, within your stillness is great movement, if only you can stay still enough to feel it. So really important messages about reflection right now, re-evaluating what you're doing, how you want to move forward. What does your new beginning look like? So using the energy of Imbolc, using the energy of that creation energy, that new energy coming in now, using the energy of Mercury retrograde to really slow down. Also, Mercury rules the mind and that mental body. So it's also helping us to slow down our minds to really be able to reevaluate. It's not coincidentally at the time where we're having this repatterning happen, to shift our thought processes, to reflect upon how maybe you have some outdated thinking, some old patterns, some conditioning, and maybe these ways of thought are not yours. So lots to really work through right now. February is going to be quite an intense month. Magical, but intense. And there's quite a few transitions. Let me see. Okay, now I'm not going to be able to think about it on the top of my head. Again, I told you about the gateway tomorrow on 2/2. And then also, I think today, if I'm not, because again, my days blur. Today, I think it was it Venus and Jupiter aligned, which made me feel like heart chakra as well as sacral chakra, which is so interesting. And I think they aligned in Aquarius. Meredith Morris, you are my astrology goddess. Am I accurate? Because I feel like that's what it was. And I felt like, aha, that makes so much sense with the Bridget and the Imbolc energy. We've got the higher heart alignment with the sacral chakra. And so this is like, one, it could be activating some feelings of like romantic stuff, you know, coming in here. New relationships. Could be new relationship with the self, with your body. We talked about that. Could also be new ideals in regards to romance and relationships. But also I feel like this is a very potent alignment behind the scenes of our higher sacred heart aligning with our sacral fire. And that is the energy of birthing the divine through us, through our wombs. You know, I posted about the Yoni Mudra coming forward last week. If you haven't seen that already, check the post. I'm not going to go back into it again, but it was also talking about the midwifing energy, how we are, some of us are, you know, releasing the old through that death process within us, but also some of us are the midwives that are giving birth to this new energy through us. So you'll see it on my page. It's an orange mudra card from last week that says Yoni Mudra. Read the information on that. It talks more about this birthing energy. And again, what are we birthing? Higher heart is the best possible thing to be birthing through us. Okay. All right. So I think that's quite it. I'm sure I'll remember something later and be like, oh, man, I forgot. I'm going to go back through some of the comments since you're all, you know, so wonderful to comment and share your perspectives and things going on. Let me see. And I'm going to scroll all the way back up, so just bear with me here. Vanessa, Flo, Tracy, Barbara, Karen, Anna, Lori, Brenna, did I say hi to you, love? I can't remember if I did. Kathleen, welcome, gorgeous. Heather, welcome. Tiffany, Nadia, welcome, welcome, welcome. Dawn, I can't remember if I said hi to you or not, but welcome, love. Go back up to the comments. Thank you all so much for being here. So Gregory says that Gregory, thank you for saying that. Gregory lives in the same town as me, and he says that we currently have 23 inches already, and it's not supposed to stop until the wee hours of the morning or early morning. So, whoa, we're already at 2 feet. Alexandra says, physically feeling that totally. Yeah, and I think we did talk about that. Let's see, Jennifer and Laura, hello, loves. Don't know if I said hello to you or not. Eileen, welcome. Anne McAvoy, welcome. Oh, you know, you're never late, Karen. Always in divine timing, hun. Brenna also having loss of focus and motivation. Yeah, and Annie as well. Kathleen says, I told Debbie that very thing yesterday. Too much information. It's got to stop and give it a rest for a few. I can't think. Universal, yeah. And that's really what 2021 is about. It is the, where we're bringing in all the information, all the things that we have learned throughout 2020 and what we will still continue to be learning and, you know, receiving in the early waves of 2021 here. This is going to be a year of integration. So in order to integrate, we've got to step back and allow and just let that process, you know. I talk a lot about that when it comes to like energy healing work, you know, whenever I work on clients, you know, I tell them just give yourself a good, at least a couple of days or a week or so, and you're going to notice over time that you're being readjusted a little bit more and more. It is this integration of the new energy of the new codes and whatnot that you've received during the process. Oh, Brenna, detox, yeah. One thing that you just remind me of is that Imbolc, as well as Bridget, is also associated with clearing, cleansing, and spring cleaning. So this could be also why a lot of us are feeling that need to detox and clear our energy. Dawn says, oh, is that why I broke my wrist? To force me to slow down? Well, that's a good possibility. I've heard of a lot of people breaking their legs, or if not recently, and oh my goodness, I'm better knock on wood. but I've heard in the past a lot of people who I know that have broken their foot or their leg, the message that they took away from it was that I needed to slow down. So it's going to definitely have you refocus a bit. Now you have to kind of really think about each step, because you're obviously not able to use that hand in the way that you were able to use it before, right? So now it requires a little bit more thought. So definitely feels a little bit like slowing down, and maybe thinking things through before doing them. Okay. Vanessa says the alignment, maybe that's why I feel so emotional for no reason. Yeah, lots of emotional stuff going on. Not just with that alignment, but with the planetary alignments that we have going on. There's so much release happening, and I think since we've had that big conjunction with Uranus and Mars, it's really been kind of shaking things up for us all. And the emotional is a release when it comes up. When you're feeling emotional, this is something that wants to come up to be acknowledged through you, to be worked with and understood so that you can release it. I will say that I've also noticed past cycles coming back in, where people are having to re-experience a cycle that they already experienced. It's coming back around, and it's giving you the opportunity to make it right this time for yourself, to come into peace with it. And it might feel like, why do I have to do this again? Why am I going through this again? It's important to not ask why something is happening to you, but instead switch your perspective to what is this making room for, or what the universe is doing for you. So it's actually doing something for you. So what is it doing for you? Oftentimes it's giving you the opportunity to do things differently, to get the closure or the healing, or come into peace, maybe through some sort of a forgiveness, whether it be self or someone else, to release. So we often, in order to release something, we do have to somehow experience it again, even if it's just thought-wise and not literal. But some people are actually experiencing the exact same scenarios over again. It's just to teach us more of it's not about, doing anything wrong, and it's not like you're being punished. It's just about you getting another opportunity to heal something on a deeper level, to really fully be liberated from it and not have to experience it again. Alexandra says, I've also been unable to focus and had been feeling guilty because I had stopped my celery juicing, started again today, so I can relate. Oh, well, if it makes you feel any better, today was day 5 for me, and I have to skip day 6 because we're in the midst of a storm. So I ran out of celery today, and when I went to the store, there must be lots of people doing celery juicing, because I'm going to tell you, there was the biggest shortage in celery I've ever seen in history. What is everybody doing with the celery? I haven't heard of a lot of people saying that they're doing that, but there was no celery at the grocery store, so I got the last of what I could. So I'm out, and that means I'm going to have to skip tomorrow and start fresh again on the day after. So don't fret. You have plenty of time to continue and dedicate to yourself. It's not going to hurt you to skip a day. Okay. Meredith says, Venus joins Saturn on Friday. Karmic relationships. Oh, good Lord. And with Jupiter shortly after, I believe, February 11th, but will confirm. I think it just did something today. Is it today or yesterday? Because, again, my days are blurring. But it was something yesterday or today where it just moved into an alignment. And I could have swore it was Venus and Jupiter, because I thought to myself, oh my goodness, heart and sacral. So I could be wrong. Who knows what time? Maybe that was on another timeline, because who knows where I'm at anymore. I don't know. I'm kind of dipping between the two, or the many. Tomorrow afternoon, Gregory. Oh no. I don't know how much more we can take. I mean, I like it and all, but this is intense. Hi, Denise. Hi, Diana. Welcome. So those of you just popping in, you missed quite an interesting discussion on Imbolc, the Celtic goddess Bridget, and celebrating that. And what you can do is today is Imbolc, as is tomorrow. And also a little bit of my energy forecast. And we are special magic we're going to be doing. So it's all available on replay after this is done airing. 5 p.m. Oh no. Unable to sleep. So many thoughts. Unable to sleep is interesting too, with the whole insomnia, and I was unable to sleep this morning. I got up really, really early. again, with the repatterning of the brain, that kind of aligns with that, I feel. Hi, Tammy. Welcome, love. Thanks for being here, popping in. Kathleen says, it's a time for sorting and keeping what you can use and letting go of what isn't serving you. File all that info we have been receiving away and use as needed. Well said. Thank you for that. Venus and Pluto conjunction just happened. Maybe that's what it is. And Pluto is also associated with sacral, if I'm not mistaken. As they all can be associated. Venus is even associated with sacral as well as heart. So, and I think also Pluto is associated with throat. Is it? I don't know. It changes all the time. I have it anymore. All I know is I saw heart, sacral, and went, "Ooh, this is perfect. This makes sense." So I'm gonna go with that. Okay. All right. Kimberly couldn't sleep either. All right. So just be mindful of what's going on. Everybody, don't be easy with yourselves. Take more time to rest during the day. I actually put aside a reading that I was supposed to do today because I knew I wanted to do Moonday, and I knew I was going to overexert myself with the energy. Also with the snow like this, and I know not everybody is experiencing it, but what I can relate to with the snow is during a snowfall, it's actually like this beautiful, pristine stillness and peace. And because snow is actually frozen water, it's very cleansing at the same time. It has still got that purification. So that whole, what's happening with the blanketing of us right now to kind of keep us blanketed while we go through that purification and cleansing. So really, it's still really a beautiful thing, even though it's going to be quite fun for the next couple of months to get rid of that snow. Hello, beautiful Judy. Welcome. I know. I think somebody just said 23 inches here in Phillipsburg. My goodness. Okay. I'm going to move it along. So I'm going to get into the oracle message, and then I will be doing the singing bowls to bring that alignment of higher heart and sacral chakra for us, really harnessing the energy of Imbolc and Breed at this time. I will not be pulling a mudra live, but I still will pull a mudra and post it on my page for us afterwards. I'm just trying to figure out what deck I want to use. Let's give it a go. Do I want this one? Maybe I don't want this one. I want this one. All right, so I'm working with the Goddess Dream Oracle by Wendy Andrew. Okay. So I'm going to invite you all to enter into sacred space with me now. So I'm going to just have you close your eyes as we all are energetically connecting right now. We really want to kind of bring our energy in and just create that space of, calm, anchored, grounded energy. So just take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Release. Feeling your stress, any tension in your body, any stress in your mind, any thought, all just beginning to melt and dissolve. Just falling away, bringing your body lower and lower into that womb space of Mother Earth, into the belly. Take another nice deep breath in. Release. Again, releasing tension in your body. Dropping your mind down into your heart. Feeling your heart. Feeling that energy. All right. So what guidance comes forward for the collective good for the week of February 1st, 2021? So those of you who were here to listen to my whole discussion on Imbolc and Bridget are going to find this funny because it is a number 4, which number 4 to me is the epitome of the number. It's not only, it's like balance times 2, because to me the number of balance is number 2. But 4 would be balancing on top of balancing, so to me it's like this divine completion, if you will. Also the four corners of a solar cross, or of a cross. And I said solar cross for a reason, because the original crosses, they were actually like this. They were perfect, symmetric, equal in sides, equal. There wasn't, like, you know how the Christian cross is actually like this, which is not actually balanced. That is not equal. So the old solar crosses were actually equal, and so that was the four sides, right? The 4 points there. Also the direction. So 4 represents that direction, that balance, the alignment, divine alignment is really what I want to say. And the structure, your foundation, and what we are building, or what you are building your life on, or what needs to occur within your foundation in order for it to be more stable, to have that, more of a stable structure for yourself and for what you're, where you're going, moving with your life, right? So the card itself is balance, and it says light and dark. So clearly very, very in alignment with Imbolc energy. She's got that bright golden sun just really illuminated behind her, really sending out its rays. I feel like that is very much in alignment with what I talked about for tomorrow, as we have that golden magenta energy, which is interesting because last week I was seeing all of this golden magenta energy come in when I was meditating in the mornings and connecting into my, into my higher self, calling in my family of light. I just kept pulling in all this golden magenta energy, and I thought, well, that's interesting. It's different. I don't usually see that color together like that anyway. And I felt like it was because the golden light, the golden energy is what we call, and it's funny, I was just talking about the cross, the Christ light. Now, this doesn't have to do with Christianity. It has to do with what we refer to as enlightened or unified light, and attaining that Christed consciousness. Jesus, or Yeshua, his name was actually not Jesus Christ, it was Yeshua, the Nazarene. And the Christ part comes in because his purpose here was anchoring Christ light, Christ consciousness, which is that love, that divine unconditional love, and that unification about everything being in oneness, the oneness of everything. So that Christ light is the golden energy, neither masculine nor feminine. It just is. It's the unified light. But then when we have the anchoring of the magenta, it is the feminine Christ energy, the feminine Sophia energy there, or Shekinah. And that energy is the sacred feminine, the female or mother aspect of creator, of source energy, of our, that, again, God, goddess energy. It is that female aspect. What it is doing tomorrow is actually coming into balance with the golden blue energy of the sacred masculine. Yes, the Magdalene energy can be referred to as that. So this energy coming in to bring a more harmonic alignment and balance between the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, so that we are in that oneness, right? So, I'm sorry, I just was reading what Kathleen said. On your hand, the index finger is the 4th finger and represents direction and solid foundation, and everything is built on the energy of 4, from thought to the materialized matter. 4 is cool number. Wonderful. Thank you. I didn't know that about the finger. That's really cool. So energy of bringing in that balance, and that not only the feminine Christ, but it's bringing it into alignment with the masculine Christ energy that we have, and having them come into that unification. And it is about oneness, everything going forward in the new consciousness. In the 5th dimension is all about unified oneness and love. So energy coming in this week to really bring about balance, which is perfect for Imbolc, as we are 1. Tomorrow is a 2-2, which is what? 2 and 2, 4. And then you've got the 21, which, depending on how you break it down, it could be a 3, it could be the 5, because 2021 actually breaks down to be a 5, which is the 5-year of growth, expansion, and big changes. So a very expansive number there we have. But the 2 and 2 represents that balance there with the 4. And so you can see this energy coming in this week that's really going to have circumstances that may be occurring to bring us into balance, to remove from our lives what is not in balance. Maybe you have some situations that occur that are actually that need to occur to kind of like break up that foundation just a little bit of the old, so that you can move your energy and your life can be brought more into alignment with a balanced way of being, way of living, and whatnot. Now, also, it says light and dark on the card, and I was really drawn to the mirror in her hand. And it really made me feel about like taking a really good look at ourselves in the mirror and really seeing what it is that we are projecting, because everything in our life is a reflection of what's within us. So it's about the internal becoming external, and the external being part of the internal. And how you feel about yourself is what you create in your physical reality. How you feel about others, how you feel about your situations, how you feel about your life is what you create in your reality. So it's about then kind of coming within the self and working through any of those darker shadows that might be coming up, and the emotions, as some of you mentioned, that you are experiencing quite a bit of an emotions going on right now. It's really about acknowledging our emotions that are coming up to be recognized. One meditation that I've done with some of my students in the past is going into the temple, the Isis's temple, the goddess Isis, her temple of obsidian, because obsidian is very much about it's a very reflective surface, but it's also the energy, or the stone or the crystal that's used in the majority of like scrying mirrors. And so it is about the reflection of the shadow self really being shown to you, and acknowledging what is coming up at this time for you to either one, it could be something that's coming up for you to harness, to use that energy to bring more of it out of you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be shadows that are bad. It could be the light that actually wants to be radiated with, like, externally, that you've kept hidden within yourself. So really kind of looking deep within yourself and seeing what it is there. What does your sacred fire and flame look like? This little pilot light that you might have on in there. How can you spark it and bring it to life and bring that newness, that rebirth of energy? How can you bring that outside of you? How can you bring that into yourself? It's about empowering yourself more, or being more aware of this energy and how you can. There's a thing again where I can't figure out the word that I want. It's more of the like inspiring yourself. How can you allow it to motivate you to take this step and this step forward? Also, again, dealing with, like I said before, those shadows. So it is about situations that are imbalanced coming up in some way or another. They could be presenting themselves in a way that is a challenge. Now, you are not to, fall apart and let this defeat you or knock you down. You are to get ahead of that, and you are to say, aha, I see you. I see you as a teacher to me. I see you as something that needed to go, or something that needed to shift, something that needed to change. Maybe it's something that needs more attention. Maybe it's more growth. Mercury retrograde is wonderful for that. A lot of people will get really upset and say, every single time there's Mercury retrograde, I'll have something wrong with my technology, or I'll have something wrong with my vehicle, or this, and that. But what that essentially is doing is it's bringing awareness to something that needed tending to. So whether it be you taking a time out from technology, or whether it be you needing to be mindful of something that was going on with your car that you had no idea of. You see? So it's really just kind of time like a tune-up time. So this balance that wants to come into our life this week, it's going to come up in many different ways for all of us. Just be mindful of what does go on. Remember, at the end of the day, the word for the week is balance, 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 and integration. So how can you take the information that you maybe, Kathleen, we were talking about all of the information just pelting us and being a bit too much. How can you also take some of that information this week and begin to integrate it, apply it to your life? Maybe the many things that you've learned, Maybe some of you find yourself following many different spiritual teachers or pages where there's these insights and this information. And, so every day you go on and you find this new information. And for example, I follow a page that is North of the Moon, the astrology page, where they just have just enough that gives you just a little bit of an insight for the day and really what you need to be mindful of. But it's not just about reading it. It's about then understanding it to be able to apply it into my life and to take action towards that. Do you see? So it's things like that where you could be also asking, where do I need to take all of this stuff that's now out of balance because it's just all floating around here, and how do I integrate it, take it into myself and apply it, and then move my life around that, if that makes sense. So balance all week long, balancing your light with your dark with your light, balancing your internal with your external with your internal, cosmos with your physical, and physical with the cosmos. Being mindful of the seasons is also part of that. Again, we are aligning, because that's what balance is. So no coincidence, I was guided to do an alignment for us here with this crystal singing bowls. Okay, so I'll let you see the card one more last time, and we will move on. Balance. Light and dark, and it is a number 4 about our stability, our structure, foundations possibly changing. I did hear with some astrology reports with the intensity of this month in February that it was a big game changer for a lot of us. Clearly it will depend upon your own path, your own contracts, and where each planetary alignment does fall upon in your birth chart, how it will impact you or where it will impact you. Obviously, it's going to be very different for everybody. But, when things are game changers, sometimes we don't see them coming, Sometimes we're not ready, we're not prepared, and that's okay. Roll with it. Flow with it. Remember, everything is being brought into balance, or more into balance is what I should say. Maybe it's not an overnight thing, but sometimes it is just about moving us into that flow, into the alignment. Okay? All right. I hope that makes sense to everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to bring us into this beautiful magical, mystical sounds of the singing bowls. So I have never done that with this microphone, so I do not know how loud this is going to be. So what I'm going to try to do right now is to just take the volume down just a notch so it doesn't really kind of like ping through. If you're wearing headphones, you might want to see how it sounds first. Maybe take one out just in case, so you don't really hurt your ears, because I don't know how loud it's going to be. All right. Okay, so which way? Just turn down just a tiny bit. All right. I will catch comments back when we're done with this. I'm just going to move into this. Let me move my tea before I go knock that, and it goes kaboom. Okay. So what I'm going to have you all do is I'm just going to have you close your eyes and just really feel your space. Feel yourself into that space that we went into there. Really focusing on coming into that belly of the divine mother, or that earth energy. Coming back into that protected space. We are also going to be welcoming in the energy of the Celtic goddess Breed to assist us in this alignment between our sacral fire and our sacred heart fire. And just begin to envision that pilot light, that little flame or spark of light within your womb or pelvis space, your sacral chakra, igniting, seeing it begin to rise, tending that flame as it is within a brazier, or you can even see it on a pillar. Just really connect into that womb. also adjust your volume to what sounds good for all of you, okay? Thank you for that, sweetheart. All right, so in that womb space, moving through what looks like a tunnel through your heart space, connecting into a secret chamber within your heart. And this is your higher heart, your sacred heart. Within that secret, sacred chamber, you see another brazier of fire, yet a tiny spark of light. And this one glows, vibrant, illuminated with 3 different rays or flames, seeing 3 different colors: magenta, blue, and joining the 2 together is golden flames. Activating that sacred heart flame within you, your Christed light and flame, the essence of the sacred divine mother, the feminine Christ, the masculine Christ, and the divine Father energy. Seeing that light, that flame grow larger and larger. There's an intense reverb from the mic when you go around the bowl after a few seconds and all you hear is reverb. Maybe the mic is too close to the bowl. It's very, very possible. It's very possible. I can only have the mic and the bowls so far apart because of the, one, because of the length of my arms, and two, because of the quality of the sound. You won't be able to hear it. So I'm so sorry if that was not, if it wasn't pleasant, if it was more difficult to hear it than anything. Something to definitely try to maybe keep in mind for the next time around, and trying to figure out another way where maybe I'm not talking, not doing the meditation, and just the sound. So then you can just, I can maybe move the microphone further away. So Kathleen says her phone glitched through a lot of it. That was incredible. Thank you so much, Meredith. How was it for you on your end? Did it also do that whole glitchy reverb? Yeah, I'll definitely give it. Oh, wow. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, and also sometimes, but I have talked to Karen and I when we first bought the bowls, we really did want to learn a lot about the quality of sound transforming, or I should say being, I don't even know if that's the right word, moving from our microphone and the quality of it being basically broadcast over the internet to someone else's, whatever they're watching on. And one thing that they did say to us, we have a friend who actually works with sound, and they actually said to us that the quality, I can have the best possible equipment there is. Sometimes it also has to do with the quality of the microphone that you are, whatever device you're watching on. So sometimes with the cell phones and tablets, the quality of the microphone is definitely not good for bringing in, sound and then the output of putting it out like that. So, hopefully next time I can still figure out something that kind of makes it work for those of you who didn't have the greatest experience with it. But for those of you who did, thank you for the feedback. Whether it was good or bad, I do appreciate that. Teresa, it was beautiful, the vibration. I could picture the flame flowing, magical. Wow, okay. All right, so maybe next time, again, I'll play around with it a little bit, and maybe next time we'll just have no talking and just all bowls, and I can move the microphone a little further away. Oh my goodness, Meredith. Wow. Isn't that interesting considering our conversation? Very fascinating. Hey, Laura, welcome, gorgeous. So you did just miss the Moonday, but you can catch everything back on replay. I did the crystal singing bowls as a special treat for Imbolc. I'm going to, that's interesting, Meredith. I'm going to get back to that in a second. I'm going to post a mudra for all of us and post it to my page so that we still have something to work with all week long, as I do feel like we'll need it. And they're always wonderful to have anyway. So I'll do that for us all. And interesting, Meredith, because I almost went into light language, but I kind of pulled myself back out of it a bit too soon. So I just kind of let it go. So maybe it came through regardless with the sound. All right. Hey, Lynette, love. Thank you so much for being here with me, everybody, and for tuning in to this very lengthy Moonday. I hope that I gave you some much guided or much needed information and it helps you throughout the week as you experience anything that may have been discussed today, or if you're like me and you just got the stutters nonstop. Love and blessings again. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful, magical, and safe week.